welcome to the Fairy Little Podcast. I'm Marsha, also known as Fairy Little on Instagram and Ravelry. That is my username. And this is my podcast, all about knitting and other things. But today it's all about knitting because I've been very monogamous on the project that I have been working on, and I'm going to share that with you today. It is almost done. I can feel it. It's almost done. So I'll show you right now. I have two things left to do. This is the Comfort Hoodie. I guess I have three things because I still have to block it. So this is the Comfort Hoodie. It is all knit and the ends are all woven in. Yesterday I sewed down the pocket on the inside. So the pocket is right there and it's stitched down. And it's stitched down in such a way that you shouldn't be able to see it very visually on the front. Once it's all blocked, these stitches will all loosen out. But it is one pocket that goes across the entire front, so it's perfect for throwing your phone in or any other things you want to have in there. I do need to do the I-cord for the hood. So the hood is, the edging of the hood is knit in such a way that you fold the edging over and it creates the pocket for the I-cord, and the I-cord goes all the way through the pocket in the front. And there are holes that you knit into the V-neck so you can feed the I-cord through there. You can do it in such a way that you can go through each one, or you can go through every other one. You could do the holes on one side and then do buttons on the other side if you so chose. That would be fine as well. It would be very simple to edit the collar to be whatever you want it to be. You could even add a couple extra rows to it if you wanted to. You could do whatever you want. One thing I did on this that the pattern doesn't call for is I actually, on my other two, I didn't do this, but I tacked down the top part of the V. So it's tacked down only in the front. The back isn't tacked down, just the front is tacked down along that area with the end of my yarn. I just wanted to try that out and see how it looked, and it looks really good. So I'll just throw this on quickly and I'll give you a peek of what it looks like. I'm wearing overalls today, so so when the I-cord goes in, this will come in a little bit more, and once it's blocked as well, it will have a little bit more give. I think my battery's dying. So that's what it looks like, and it feels really good. I'm really happy with it. I can't wait to block it and start wearing it, and I am really excited about getting on to my next projects. So this one will be done this week for sure. I'll have it blocked and I'll show you it blocked next week. I'm really happy with how it turned out. It is knit out of Berocco Remix Light, which is a number 3 yarn, but I've compared it to other yarns, and I compared it in the last episode, I believe. And it actually comes out to more of a heavy fingering versus a DK. It's rated as a DK, but I wouldn't say it's a DK yarn. I would say it's a heavy fingering. It's really hard to rate that within Ravelry when you're listing suggested yarn because it is classed as a number 3. So that's just a little bit, I feel like that's more confusing than it needs to be, but the only way I can enter the yarn that I used is by calling it what they say it is. So just be aware of that. Make sure you're getting gauge and that you're using a fine enough yarn that your wrists aren't getting sore, because if you use a dense yarn and you're going to the like a thick yarn and you're going to the dense gauge, it can wear on your hands fairly quickly. So I just want to make sure that nobody's coming to any harm because they're using a thicker yarn than I used designing this and what I designed this for. So just keep that in mind. The next thing I have been working on is I'm hosting a knit along. It is a secret knit along with my patrons. So patrons, this is hint one that you would have received last week, and spoiler alert if you didn't watch the beginning of this episode. At the beginning of my episodes, I have 2 episodes, one for my patrons, one for everybody else. So at the beginning of the patron episodes, it talks about the knit along that I'm doing with them and anything else that we're talking about. And they also receive ad-free, but this one has ads and all the other things. So this is what I am working on. It is a new sock design that is happening with my patrons. It's a secret knit along. This hint was released last week to them. This is the cuffs. These socks are called the Delight socks. This yarn that I'm using is Lily & Pine. This is Lavender Cupcakes, and it's so pretty and soft. The base of this yarn is 80% merino, 10% cashmere, and 10% nylon. It is a fingering weight yarn, and these are so soft. I'm so excited about these. I've already knit one pair, my first pair out of this yarn, so I'm using this yarn to do my second pair for the knit along. The other color I'm using, because these are 2 color socks, is the Lily & Pine Fiber Arts. Again, it is in their rose sock base, so that's the merino cashmere nylon, and the other color I'm using is called Sandy Beach. So this is the Sandy Beach. I have all of the yarn sticking off there. And this is the Lavender Cupcakes. It goes so well together. This is actually showing up more yellow than it is. They go so beautifully together, and I am enjoying this knit. So this is, you'll get to see this as we continue on. The pattern will be available eventually publicly. It is at least 2 months away, and the reason it is because it is the knit along. So I'll show you as we go, and at the end of the knit along I'll be releasing it to the public for sale, and I'm really excited about it. These socks are so pretty, and they are just enjoyable to knit. There's enough happening that you have to stay invested in them, but it's also very, it's a pattern repetitive, so it's very soothing to knit because each row is repetitive. So once you read the row, it's just, you're doing that for the entire row, and it's so relaxing. It's added to my joy a lot. I was contacted by Allison Barnes Yarn, Allison, who is going to do some yarn support for a new design that I have. I'm very excited to share with you that she also picks somebody once a month to do yarn support for the larger sizes. So size 50-inch bust and up, she will do yarn support. So if you are test knitting one of my designs and you are actually in the larger size category, because I want my designs to be as inclusive as possible, and Allison also feels inclusivity is very important. That's why she offers yarn support for the larger sizes, because when you're knitting a larger size sweater, there is an expense there. So she has offered to do some yarn support for larger sizes. It would be one person once a month that she offers this to. So if you happen to be a larger size and you are interested in knitting one of my designs, then you can actually get in contact with Allison Barnes Yarn, and she will let you know if you have been chosen to do the yarn support for. And I think this is a really amazing opportunity and an amazing thing that she is doing to help support the yarn community, especially right now. There's a lot of people who would love to test knit and would love to be able to do that, but can't necessarily invest that much yarn into a project. So thank you, Allison. I really appreciate it. She also has a YouTube channel and she is on Instagram as well. I'm running a knit along right now and it is called the Christmas Knit Box Knit Along. We are focusing it over on Ravelry and on Instagram, so you can use the hashtag Christmas Knit Box over there. What it is I am knitting things in advance for Christmas next year because I am working on doing a handmade Christmas. So that will be knitted items, maybe crocheted items, maybe sewn items, quilted items. I also, I want to sew a dress for myself. I cut out all of the pieces a couple years ago and I just need to sew it together. So that's that is something I want to do in the next week or two. I'm going to create an actual box to put each item into for Christmas. I have 2 items already. I have the Pasqua shawl and I have the inward wrap. Both of those have been knitted, completed, blocked, and are ready to go in my Christmas knit box. So excited. I also will be knitting socks, hopefully for each of the kids. I'm aiming for that. I want to knit each of them a hat and with pom-pom. I also want to knit some gloves and mittens for everybody. So I will have just a nice selection of gifts for each of the kids in knitted items. They are all very knit worthy. They all wear all of the knitted items. I make them, which makes me really happy. Anytime I see them wearing something that I've knit, it just like fills my heart up. If you want to join along in the knit along, create your own box and take pictures of each of your gifts as you're working on it. And then when it gets put into the box, also include that. You can go onto Ravelry and you can post in there as well. The posts in there, I will draw a prize from Ravelry separately than Instagram. And with Instagram, I will go on and put in the hashtag and I'll draw from the hashtag a prize winner from there. One from the hashtag Christmas Knit Box. I know this episode is going to be short because that's it for the knitting content. So if that is all you were here for, thank you so much for joining me. If you would like to know ways you can support the podcast, there's a bunch of links down below, and I still am raising money to pay for that bill that I was paying for. Still quite a bit outstanding. So I'm working towards that goal, and my discounts are still going to be available until that goal has been met. So thank you for joining me, and I hope you have a great day. For anybody else who's still interested in the jibber jabber, let's get jibber jabbering. As I was saying right before jibber jabber, I still have my sale going on, so I'll just give a quick update on what that looks like. The first week of my sale, I raised almost half of what I needed in the first week, and since then it has very much slowed, but there's still action happening, so my bill is still going down slowly at this point. I've received some really nice donations directly to me that have gone directly to that bill. The total amount at the top was $11,734.25. So far, we've raised $6,609.03, which means the total outstanding now is $5,125.22. I am so excited that this is being taken care of, and it's one less thing I have to worry about. I have been selling my own items as well. I sold a spinning wheel. I've been selling design pattern books that I had in my library. I'm also selling a treadle sewing machine. I'm going to be going through a bunch of other craft things and selling those. I have a loom that I'm going to be selling. I really want to thank everybody who has purchased patterns, and given them as gifts to other people. Anybody who has sent a monetary donation, people who have shared what I'm doing, shared my coupon code. There are a lot of other podcasts out there who have been talking about my designs, which has been a huge help. If you have knit one of my designs and you share it on Instagram, I immediately see sales spike. And if that's the way you're helping me, like I appreciate every single move in that direction, because this is still really big for me. So I appreciate every effort that is going towards taking care of this, and we're over halfway there, which is amazing. I'm so excited to have this off my plate and be one less thing I have to worry about. So thank you so much. The coupon codes are still available. Help Marsha is capital H, lowercase ELP, capital MARSHA on my website, which is fairylittledesigns.com. You can go and check out my designs over there. They aren't all up yet, but there's a good portion, and I'll be putting more up. And that's a direct website. That's my website. And on Ravelry, if you type in Help Marsha, all capital, then both of those discounts will get you 50% off every single one of my designs. So you can knit them up and tag me on Instagram, make project pages on Ravelry, talk about how the pattern was for you. If you do happen to run into any problems, then contact me directly. We'll work through it. And if an update or change needs to be made in the pattern, I will definitely do that. I want this to be the best experience for anybody who is knitting one of my patterns, which means also I have been talking one-on-one with people as well. If they are a newer knitter and they are struggling with understanding what something is, I do not mind walking you through that process. This sweater in particular has a lot of features that are not common in a regular sweater, like a hood. You're picking up stitches, you're doing the ribbing flap for the I cord. There's holes for the I cord or buttonholes. There's also changing how you're knitting so that you can do the pockets, as well as knitting in a pocket into the back and attaching that. So there's many features that aren't in a basic sweater design. This is the full schmagegi, and it also has the split hip, which is really nice for when you're sitting down, because it stretches less and it's a lot more comfortable instead of causing that tightness around your bootay. So that is what is happening for those things. Yesterday, one of my girls told me that she didn't want to go to school today. She wanted to take a false spring day off because we just finished spring break. And she tried to make a deal with me yesterday. She's like, if it snows, do I have to go to school? And she's like, let's make a deal. If it snows, I don't have to go to school. And I said, it's not going to snow, but you still have to go to school. So I'm not making that bet. And she just kept bringing it up. If it snows, then I don't have to go to school. I'm like, yes, you still have to go to school, even if it snows, but it's not going to snow. We woke up this morning and it had snowed. So I was really glad that I did not take that bet anyway, but we were very surprised that it had snowed. It wasn't a lot of snow, but it was enough to know that it snowed. False spring. She's so funny. Spring break is a time when we usually take a trip. And I have taken trips to Vancouver Island and Victoria for year after year for a very long time. And this year, because of everything that's happening, we did not go anywhere. We just stayed home, as mostly everybody else has done as well. We had a really good time though. The girls talked about things that they wanted to do this spring break, and one of those things was paddleboarding. And I think I talked about that last week, and we took out the paddleboard again this weekend. It was a lot of fun. The girls enjoyed themselves so much. It was very windy though, so it was very easy for them to get blown on the paddleboard, so they stayed very close to the shore. When the wind picked up too much, that's when we decided to go home. After we got home, we made some dinner. My sister made spaghetti. She actually made me chicken because I don't really eat a lot of wheat. So she made me some chicken, and I had pasta sauce with it. Also baked potato. It was really, really good. I'm trying to eat clean, and I used to do bodybuilding back in 2013, I want to say 2014. I did bodybuilding, and I ate a very clean diet, which meant I ate chicken breast and broccoli and sweet potatoes every day and oatmeal. But I didn't eat any processed food. I didn't eat any additional sugar. I didn't eat wheat. So it was really, my body responded really well to that kind of a diet. So, and not that I'm doing a diet, but eating in a healthier way, because I was gaining quite a bit of weight. And I feel like it was not just COVID weight, but like emotional eating and things. So I'm just being aware of it. I don't want to do a diet because I know myself, and I know that that's something that I would just not be healthy in. Now that spring break is over and my kids have gone back to school, it is time for spring cleaning for me. I was actually thinking of whether I would podcast or not today, because I have been working on spring cleaning, which also means I'm lining up more things to sell. The girls' old winter coats, I'm going to be selling those online. Going through anything that is in the house that we don't need in the house, that has been outgrown or isn't used, I'm going to be selling. I'm going to go through as many things as I can and sell them. I'm actually contemplating selling one of my other spinning wheels, because I have two. I had three and I sold one already. So I'm thinking I'll sell one more. The new spinning wheel that I just got with that big lot that I got a while ago, it has like a super spindle. It's everything about it's extra large. It is a lot more stable, so it doesn't slide across the floor. Everything about that wheel is just works really, really well. So I think I'm going to sell my other wheel that I have. I bought that one last Christmas. So I think I'll sell that one, and then I'll only have one wheel, which is fine. I used to spin a lot more than I do now. I was doing some spinning last week. I was showing one of my girls how to do it, but I don't tend to pick up the wheel. I tend to go to the knitting, especially right now. So I'm just thinking of the things that I can clear out. It's not that I have a lot of stuff, but the things that I can sell and put that money towards that sneaky bill. I'm really leaning towards doing that. I think that is it for me for today. I appreciate every single one of you stopping by. It was great to see you and great to spend some time together. If you have any questions for me, just post them down below, or you can ask me over in Ravelry or Instagram. There's a bunch of different ways you can support the podcast. If you're interested in purchasing any of my designs, they're all 50% off right now until I get this pesky bill taken care of. I hope you have an amazing weekend, an amazing week, that you get to spend some time knitting. Appreciate every single one of you. Have a beautiful day. Until next time.